Hi, I'm Pete.
And I'm Sam, and we're the co-founders of happystride. happystride is a cool running and fitness brand specialising in bright and functional running clothing.
And this is the Running Makes Me Happy podcast, the podcast that inspires happy running.
In today's episode, we're joined by Steve of Milestone Pursuit. As well as an expert running coach, Steve has a marathon PB of 2 hours 30 minutes and a long list of impressive races under his running belt. Hear from Steve as we discuss the super shoe controversy, running life before GPS, and what it's like to run the Comrades in South Africa.
Hi, Steve. Welcome to the Running Makes Me Happy podcast.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on. Where have you travelled from today?
So I have driven down in my camper van from Loughton, the other side of Essex.
Yeah.
So down the A1, way 127.
Yes.
Oh, nice. And I know you through advertising. We met at, I think we met at one of our mutual friend Nigel's wedding.
Yeah. So that was a long time ago. When was that?
It's got to be 10 years, over 10 years.
More than 10 years, I reckon.
Yeah.
Pandemic gets in the way of everything, doesn't it?
Yeah,
So,
it confuses it, doesn't it?
yeah. So I worked in media and advertising, and then the agency side until 2015 full time. Then I was part time until the pandemic.
Right, okay.
And then since then I've been out of that scene and very much into the running.
Yeah. And I also know you as a running coach from that wedding. You you took me on I took you on as a coach, and I have to thank you for getting me to sub 3.
Sub 3, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You did it.
Yeah. I remember we had a few attempts, didn't we? I think I did 3:05 at Paris and 3:04 at Milton Keynes, and that's when GFA was actually sub 3:05 for me.
Yeah.
So I was very happy with that.
Yeah, so you got your London place.
And then Amsterdam 2:59. But yeah, I have you to thank for getting me to sub.
Was that your best race, do you think, Amsterdam? As in,
No,
not just the time, but the way you felt about it?
No, I did Manchester 2:56:01. Then that was probably my best ever. I think I've done 5 sub 3s.
Right.
But yeah, that was my best one. I actually remember you were running that day, and I saw you as we crossed, and you said, "Oh, I look really happy." After, and I think you ran a ridiculous time, but
yeah, that's interesting because I've only run Manchester once, so that must have been 2019.
do you want to talk about what happened there?
Yeah, well, we might as well get it out of the way. So, I mean, that was my quickest marathon, and but not my best. So it was one of those races. I was in really good shape in 2019. I'd run a half marathon PB leading up to it. I was training for Comrades. The Comrades marathon is this weekend, isn't it? So
yeah.
Is this time of year that I was getting ready for that, and I was in top shape and wanted to give 2:30 a good crack. Probably slightly overpaced it early on in the first sort of 3 or 4 miles, and then may have paid the price slightly later. But I was feeling good, and 23 miles, final 5k, doing all the mental stuff to keep myself going, keep myself on pace, and the legs just in the last mile just started to. Felt like cramping. Felt like it was just basically going a bit wrong, and I got to the finish. I've missed the 2:30 target by 40 seconds or so. And as I finished, there's a video that I've got that I kind of post every now and then as a reminder. I sort of wobble a little bit, and as I wobble, someone comes over to me. And I was quite an early finisher, so there quite a lot of the medical staff were there, no one to attend to at that point. So they're quite interested in me, and they asked me how I was doing, and I just said, I just want to feel like going to sleep, to be honest. And they went, right, wheelchair came out, popped me in the chair. I was like, what are you doing? And they took me off to the medical tent, took my temperature, very famously put the thermometer, obviously, where the sun doesn't shine so much. And it was like 40 degrees or something. I was overheating massively. So I had to sit in a medical tent for 2 hours while they tried to cool me down. And at the end of it, it's really funny because at the end, I was like, I felt like I was normal, and I felt like I was talking, quite lucidly. And I said to them, I was fine, wasn't I? I was talking all right. And they're like,
delirious.
Yeah, maybe not so much. We were a little bit worried for a while. And anyway. So yeah, that was, I suppose, a good and a bad day in that I raced close to where I wanted to be. I didn't execute brilliantly well. It didn't feel amazing at the end, but that's my fastest marathon. And
amazing.
Yeah. And it was lots of memories and also good learning experiences.
Yeah.
I remember you actually WhatsApped me saying I did a gold ring because actually when I ran Amsterdam, I did 2:59.19 first sub 3, and I remember the last 3 miles. I don't even remember it. Like, you know, when you're just like, no, I'm not slowing up. No, I'm not. And I came over the line and just went like that. It's exactly the same thing. Overheated, just laid in the tent. See, I've done it a couple of times, done that, but not for a while. Touch
Well, that'd have been really dramatic at Amsterdam because it'd been in the stadium, wouldn't it? So everyone
Yeah,
would
you
have
run
to
around the stadium.
watch
Yeah.
see you.
Yeah.
see you
He's
do it.
worrying for the spectators, guys, because I remember that, and I remember coming to the end.
Oh yeah, you were doing the half marathon.
Yeah.
because that was in the afternoon.
That's
weirdly.
right. So I was like, oh, I'll just quickly catch you before you, like, as you finish, and then I'll go and start the half. And then there's just like no sign of you.
Nothing
So
on the phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
trying to find them, and you're like, where are you? And then you get a call from the medical tent or something.
Yeah.
It's scary. You have got to be careful.
Yeah. But so some definite winning situations, but also learns as well, which is always good to
and the interesting thing about that was, so that was quite scary, and then because it never happened before, and it was obviously because I just pushed myself super hard. Probably may have been slightly under the weather, who knows, but it mostly pushed myself too hard. But I was running London 3 weeks later as a training run for Comrades, and Comrades the 6 weeks, I guess, or so after that. Like, right, I've got to make sure I'm okay here.
Yeah.
Because I needed to get back into training. So I needed to get back into the hard work for Comrades, which is putting in the long mile. So making sure I was okay for that became quite a big priority.
Yeah, of course.
And then while we're there, then when it got to Comrades, you know, a few weeks later, I was very careful about how I was going to manage myself from a physical heat and also heart rate perspective. So I managed myself through that race. I had the best race I've ever had.
Wow.
So obviously, I'm not an ultra marathoner like Pete. I've not done many at all, and that was 55 miles and 6.5 hours.
Well, did you do the down or up?
Did the up?
Up, okay.
Yeah.
Because each year it swaps. 1 year's going uphill and the next year's going downhill.
Well, net. I mean, they obviously both are significantly hilly in both directions. So you have ups and downs in both. But it's just the net direction.
Yeah.
And they'll say that the down's harder because of the impact it has on your quads.
Yeah.
So I did the easy one, the up, and just had a really good day. Just managed myself really well. Ran continuously for the whole time, and ran strong.
What distance is that?
It's about 55 miles, 90k.
Wow.
I'd say it is like, if you are going to do an ultra, it's like it's a road runner's ultra. Like
That's right, yeah.
It's like a Steve's ultra.
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
like an off-road.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's not a trail race.
It's not a trail race. So it's a if you like road marathons, it's a nice step up.
And also as a race, you sort of have this romantic view that it's because it's a point-to-point course from Durban to Pietermaritzburg and back the following year. So you think, oh, this is brilliant. So this is South Africa, and we'll be running across barren land, barren Africa. You run down a highway most of the way. You know, it's like they shut the big roads and you run down it, and it's massive. It's a huge race.
Is it? Would you recommend it? Is it an amazing experience?
It is an amazing experience. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole kind of culture that comes with it that you sort of have to buy into, and if you buy into it, it becomes quite emotional and overwhelming at times. But aside from that, it's very typical of a road race, right? People go off too fast at the beginning, people crash out throughout the race. It just happens to take a long time.
One that you'd want to do, Pete?
Yes.
I'm surprised you haven't done it, to be honest.
That's what I was thinking, actually. It sounds great. It sounds like a good trip anyway. I'd quite like to go.
One of the really fun...
Don't need baggage with you.
One of the fun things about it...
in the hotel room the night before.
One of the fun things about it is they have a very strict 12-hour cutoff.
Right.
And they have a finishing pistol. So at 12 hours, a guy will stand with his back to the finish line and shoot the pistol in the air so he can't see the people who are about to finish.
Literally, if there's someone like...
And they literally close the thing. There's no medal. That's it. You're done.
Yeah.
Gutting.
So, but again, that's part of...
Rules
are rules, yeah.
And the story around it, yeah.
Well, if we rewind a little bit, so... how did you first get into running? Like, what's kind of the background there? I think you mentioned a lot of it kicked off around pandemic and...
Well, yeah.
It's before then?
Yeah, it was a little bit before then. So I'd run at school like everybody kind of does, to do your cross country. I was reasonably good at it at my school, but not really beyond that. So I did focus a lot more on team sports. I played a lot of football and cricket as a child, but also as an adult. So in my 20s, I played a lot of football to a reasonable level, and then I played a lot of cricket in my 30s again to a reasonable level, and then At one point during that, I'd done a couple of marathons. I did London in 2001 and 2002. They were my first marathons, and I did them because they were, I'd watched the first London Marathon on the telly, thought that looks brilliant. I'd love to do that one day. Yeah. So it's kind of scratched that itch at that point.
What time did you run those in?
First one was 3:37. And the second one, 3:29, I think. So I came out of the first one thinking, there's a bit more in there. I can.
Yeah. Did you know, because obviously you are, being able to run a 2:30 marathon is, exceptional as an amateur. Did you know, did you think then actually there is more here? Like, because
yeah, but not
going from 3:29 to 2:30 is.
Yeah, I mean, so I was thinking about this the other day. So 2001 was pre GPS watches, so all of my training was done without any equipment at all. It was just run and run slowly for a certain period of time. And I ran locally. I was living in Kent at the time, so I'd run locally, and I'd sort of work out how far I'd run based on how far apart certain places were. And you'd get in and go, right, so what was the time that I left? Like, I literally looked at the clock when I left, got in, looked at the clock again, and then I'd drive the route to figure out roughly how far I'd run. And so that you take that approach into racing. So into the race, I didn't have a watch. You just have the markers around the course, but they don't really mean anything to you because you've got no reference point. So just run easy, just try and make sure you're okay until you feel like you can run a bit harder or it gets hard. But when it's your first one, you don't know what it's going to be like. So you just it could happen any moment, because at that point, fueling and nutrition wasn't a big thing. So the stories of the wall are real. This could happen to me at any point. I just don't know. So just keep going nice and slowly. And then you finish and you think, I felt pretty good. Obviously I'm tired and all that stuff. But next year I'll give it another go and see if I can go a little bit quicker. And so it proved. But I had no idea that I would be capable of what I was then. What I was eventually capable of. Even when I first got back into running. So after I stopped then and carried on playing football for a few more years, and it was only when I had children that I got back into running again and had to stop playing team sports. Or I was too old as well to play team sports, so I got back into the running then. And even then, I think I got into it, and I ran. The first one back was New York, which I ran in 3:07, which for New York was pretty good. That would equate to nearly 3 hours for London. So I thought I'll have a crack at sub 3 at London next time, and so it evolves. And about that time, I wrote down my running goals on a piece of paper. And a couple of years later, I found it in a drawer. I was moving house or something. I found it in a drawer at home, and it was ridiculous how unambitious the targets were. It was like a sub 18 5K, a sub 80 half. I think it was probably a 250 marathon, something like that. I can't remember now off the top of my head, but it was like I annihilated all of them. And that was what I thought would be the sign of a really good runner, but it was actually underestimating my own capability quite significantly, which is something I take into coaching now, because I think a lot of the time we just don't know what people are capable of. No one really knows. I mean, you still don't know what you're capable of, Pete. Well, and you, Sam. And you, until you try, until you give it a go.
What was that guy?
That is really true, because you just wouldn't know, would you? If you've never trained your hardest and put all that effort in and thought about nutrition and plans and goals and everything, you just don't know.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
And I think of what you see is a lot of people get written off with their sport in terms of their sporting capability at very young ages. So at school or even before secondary school, but primary school and into secondary school, teachers might go, okay, you're not one of the sporty kids, so we're not going to let you're not going to be interested in, if you're no good at netball or football, we're not going to introduce you to athletics.
Something else,
But you might have the physiology that suits athletics, you just don't have the hand-eye coordination that's required for a ball sport. So, and I think you see that a lot now. You see a lot of older, particularly women, coming into running going, actually, I'm all right at this, but I always thought I was rubbish.
Yeah. And they never really did it at school, or maybe weren't sporty at school and that sort of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think you're completely right in that it's like a few people get kind of like named as like, oh yeah, you're the sporty people, and then you end up doing everything, and then you're in all the teams or whatever, just because you do one of the other sports. But yeah, running it's so inclusive, isn't it? Like, especially when you get older, like we've often said, it's a sport where people kind of get into it when they're older and even get better when they're older, or like start to do amazing challenges like ultras and things like that.
Yeah, I see a lot
It's
of
not like a young
mates who
people
get
thing,
into
is
running
it?
in their 30s and they're all like PBing in their 40s.
Yeah.
Like you.
Yeah.
You PB'd in your 40s. didn't
That's
you?
right, yeah.
It's amazing.
Which takes me on to what are your PBs as a runner?
I had to look this up because my memory's a bit hazy. I can remember the marathon very clearly. It's 2:30:41, so that 41 seconds still slightly grates at me. But it is what it is.
Still a PB.
Yeah, exactly. And it's still...
It's an amazing
Yeah,
time.
and it's an amazing PB. It's not just
2:30.
a PB.
You just say 2:30. So.
The thing about that as well, which is sort of part of the regret, but sort of not, is I did that pre-Super Shoes. So that was in a pair of old Adidas Bostons.
Pencils.
Yeah. Well, it's not quite... I'm not from the 80s, but...
Did you run a few 2:30s or 2:31s from memory?
Yeah, so... and actually, when I think back at my high performance for me level, is like that run. Yeah, it's there. Obviously, it's a PB, but I'm probably more proud of the fact I've run 7 times under 2:35.
Yeah.
And I think it's. I've got it on my notes. Is it 10? Where's my notes? Where does it say? 10 times under 2:40. Something like that, or might be more. 13 times under 2:40. That's right. Yeah. So that consistency over a period of time for me is something I'm probably more proud of than the ultimate time.
Keeping that going, yeah.
Yeah, maybe if I'd have run under 2:30, I would be, be more proud of that. But it's the consistency that I really value. So that was the marathon, and that's where I am strongest. I've run a 72 half, 33 for the 10K, and the sub 16 just for 5K. But even at the time when I was racing at that level, lots of people would say to me, your conversion from the shorter distance to the marathon is unbelievable. So the difference in pacing is not as significant as many other people find. So
shouldn't your shorter distances probably be a little bit quicker on
maybe,
the time?
yeah, maybe.
All those PBs are in non-super shoes.
I think the 5K might be Super Shoes. I think I did that after. Because the pandemic effectively created a cut-off. Well, 2019 was my best year. And then I wasn't in brilliant shape coming into spring 2020 when everything got cancelled. So I was already sort of waiting for a little bit of a break. And then Super Shoes came. Actually, Super Shoes were around since 2018, obviously, but I hadn't worn them. And then 2020, 2021, it became, you had to really. So then I got back into some sort of shape. But weirdly, some of those sub 235s were in that period. And I think, they were in Super Shoes, the 230 wasn't. So that actually is quite a big difference in potentially in performance. But
when you say you kind of had to then wear them, was that, talk about that, is that because everyone was wearing them? Did you feel the pressure that they were all speeding past you? Or
yeah,
I'm just interested because it's such an interesting...
Yeah, I mean, it was very emotive at the time. It was, they were called cheat shoes, regularly by people like me. And
because I remember you were, through a few WhatsApps, you were slow to... You wouldn't wear them for a while, would you?
No. Well, I didn't wear them until after the pandemic. So, and I think the reason I chose to then was because I realised that I probably wasn't quite where I wanted to be in my shape, and I'm still competitive.
You are at a disadvantage if you don't wear them, unfortunately.
You definitely are, yeah. And also now it's hard not to. Virtually everything has got some kind of plate or advantage, whether it's the foam or nylon or carbon, whatever it might be. So there's you can't really avoid it. The danger is how much you use them for training, I think. And I don't think we've quite understood the balance yet between how to train in them so that you're ready to race in them and how to train in them so you don't get injured. And because they obviously change your running mechanics in ways that is unique to you as an individual, and that causes imbalances that can then cause injuries, which we can't prove because everybody's unique.
So have you seen people that train too much in them get injured?
Yeah, but you can't
prove it.
No,
everyone's different as well. Do you think they can weaken your legs if you run in them too much?
I don't think they can weaken your legs, but I think they can change where you land on your feet, and therefore the loading through your legs, and therefore what you're used to relative to what you're now doing can be an issue. So, for example, one of the things I see is, despite better nutrition and hydration, people are cramping more in marathons. I think one of the reasons that might be the case is because the loading of their feet changes as a consequence of the shoes, that they haven't trained in quite as much. So they're not quite as well conditioned, and they haven't run 26 miles in them. So as soon as you start running the longer distances in them, things start to change. So I think it's a can of worms that can never be put back together again. And we'll never really know what the driving forces are for either the injury or the performance. Everybody's different. You know, some people respond one way, some people respond another. It's difficult to know. But to a certain extent, that's been true of shoes forever anyway. You know, shoes have always been there to help you perform better. It's just this is a somewhat accelerated form of it.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can say that in a lot of sports. Look at golf, like they used to have wooden clubs. Now look at the clubs how far they hit it, and tennis and so
the shame in running is because it's such a measurable sport that it's sort of changed the way you can look at records. So
that
whether it's world records, national records, rankings, whatever it might be, over a long period of time, it's very difficult then to take an objective perspective of, was that as good as that performance because of the shoe tech?
Because they're all the records are now getting smashed, aren't they? Like look at London sub 2. So it's just, and Paula Radcliffe's record went, didn't it? And she didn't run in super shoes, did she?
No, but again, other things have advanced as well, right? So nutrition,
technology, data, all of these things.
So we're a lot better equipped to help ourselves run faster. So it's very difficult to unpick each precise component.
Yeah, especially like what you were saying around 2001, running out the door and having a watch and having to drive the route afterwards. Like you just think compared to that, like now the tech that's available, it's crazy, isn't it? So are you still running at the moment, or are you?
So finally the body's caught up with me, and I've had a knee problem since November time, which required surgery in February time. So I'm just building back up into it now. But I have found, as I'm a bit older, so I'm 53 now. I know I don't look it.
You don't?
No comment required. No comment required. But I found recovery does genuinely take a lot longer. Everything aches a little bit more. And the things that you think are not important when you're flying and you want to focus on running because you just want to run, like strength work, you neglect. And I think you pay the price for that a little bit later. Again, who knows? So if I'd have done loads of strength work when I was a younger man, would I be injury prone still now? Maybe. Who knows?
Was it kind of spoken about as much then as it is now, like like how strength can help? I know it's like quite a big thing.
I'd say
girls as well, about like women and their muscle strength and stuff.
Definitely, I think in the last 10 years it's become more of a thing. But I don't think it's like loads of things. Things become trends and facts and phases. It's a bit like most things in our lives. Balancing it is the key thing. So doing enough that is going to help you without overdoing it, and making sure you're getting yourself nice and rounded in the way you're doing your strength work. So don't focus on one particular muscle group over another. Just make sure you're keeping yourself nice and even and balanced. So I'm spending a lot of time in the gym at the moment, which is fun. In inverted commas. No, it's actually all right. I don't mind it too much. But historically, I've always thought if I've got an hour, I'd much rather go for a run than spend it in the gym.
Yeah, but things have changed a little bit. So will you be like entering any races, do you think, moving forwards, or is that?
I'll probably enter them, whether I run them or not. It's another matter. So at the moment, I'm just in a phase of trying to get myself back into some sort of shape, and frankly, just enjoy running again, and make sure that I can do the things I love about running, which is getting out and about, seeing places, just being outdoors. Get to that stage first, and then see where it takes me.
Cool. And of course, concentrating on your coaching business as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So being injured as a runner, it can be really tough. And, I see it with people I coach. I've had it myself in the past. It can really affect your mental state because you're so used to doing something that's helping your mental health. Then you stop doing it and you feel worried about it. You feel a bit sad about what you've lost. You feel a bit angry. You feel a bit annoyed. All the kind of things you do. You feel as you grieve, basically. It's the same sort of set of feelings, obviously at different extremes. And I always think to the thing that people want to do to help themselves through that is find distractions, so find things beyond running that can help them get through the state of being injured. Unfortunately, lots of us attach so much of our identity to our running selves that it's really hard to do that. But this winter, I've got really, I've been into the coaching for a long time anyway, but I've really focused hard on that and where I take the coaching business from where it is now. And I've got into some other things outside of running as well. Following the mighty Ipswich town around the country has been quite a good distraction with my 14-year-old across the course of the winter. So but finding those distractions is really helpful. But obviously, as you say, heavily into the coaching now.
Are there any, because I know what you're sort of like as a person, is there any sort of niggles in your head around if you could get back racing, around the times you could do as like your V50?
Yeah.
Is that in the back of your head at any stage? Or is it like, no, I'm getting back into running, see how it goes? Like,
yeah, so...
are you thinking, could I run a sub 240s over 50?
Yeah. Am I thinking that? Yeah. But quite distantly.
Yeah.
So I think genuinely where I want to get to is feeling like I can run without having to lie down for a week afterwards and feel okay in my body and enjoy it. So that's definitely priority number one. If that then leads to that, yeah, of course. I'm a competitive person. I don't know about 240. That might be a bit too far. I've always thought I'd want to run to something less than my age as an ambition as I age, as a way
That's a good one.
Yeah, because I think trying to, as you age and your powers are sort of receding somewhat, I think it is important to find new goals, and that's one I've always had in the back of my head. So that places me needing to run a sub 3 when I'm 60.
So sub 250 now then?
Sub 253. Let's give myself that 3. Yeah, and I've not done that for a couple of years, so I'm already behind on that target. So that's sort of there. And if that comes, then maybe, yeah, and if that goes all right, then maybe I'll get to do something.
I love that goal. That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's just something to, like I say, something to keep you going.
Yeah.
So Milestone Pursuit, your running coaching business. Obviously, I know it very well. I love it on your website. It says run coaching by humans.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a bit about that business? Why did you start it? How did you start it? And
yeah, okay. So as you know, I worked in media for a long time, and I think most of us live lives now where we don't have one career, we have multiple careers. So it's very clear to me, having watched lots of people in that business, where their careers go past 40, 45 and beyond. And, the direction of that travel didn't necessarily appeal to me. It basically meant either spending loads of time on a plane or loads of time doing stuff you didn't really want to do locally. And so I got to the point where, okay, that's not really what I want to spend my next 20 years. So what do I want to do? And I'd always wanted to work in sport. So I thought, okay, so let's think about how we get into sport. It was that time I was getting quite heavily into running, and I could see opportunity, but also opportunity as in, I guess, commercial opportunity. The running was starting to boom again at that point, and also opportunity for me to use my skills. So one of my greatest skills when I was working properly was helping, coaching, managing people. So it felt like a logical step to get into the coaching side of it. I also thought at the time there was good symmetry between what's required to be an athlete and what's required to be successful in other parts of your life. So I kind of initially built a proposition around how you marry those two things. People didn't want it. And the reality, I think, is people like to box things off. It's like you go to see a physio, you only want to see the physio. You go to get your hair cut, you only want to get your hair cut. You go to your running coach, you only want to talk about running. So I think that's how people like to segment their lives. So the running coaching became very specialised, very specific. And the run coaching by humans thing is the thought that's developed really since the significant progress of AI and, tech full stop. In the sense that obviously what you can see and what you feel is there's a lot of stock placed in the data side of what we do, and not huge amounts placed on how we feel. So when I take on new clients, you probably remember this conversation, Pete, it's probably the same conversation I've had for 10 years, is that, there's a training plan. That training plan is really basic. It's a spreadsheet, right? And it sits there. It's always there. Your spreadsheet still exists. I've still got it. You've probably still got it.
I still use it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. And it's a training diary. And in that training diary, you capture, the basic data elements that are important, like how far you ran, how fast you ran. But the thing that I trade off most and they use the most is how you feel. So your commentary around your runs is the most important thing. It helps me plan the future, helps me know you as an athlete to get the most out of you. And Run Coaching by Humans is built with that in mind, really, that the way we feel outweighs pretty much any performance metric, because performance metrics can lie, ultimately, and you can be led down significant rabbit holes by following the wrong path. That's not to say the data's wrong or is irrelevant, because it's not. It's interesting, it's informative, it's fun to watch your graphs and all that sort of stuff, and I do that myself. But it's not the sole driver. How you feel has to be a lot more important.
I love that. I think I read something about Kipchoge when he was, I know he's still doing marathons, but when he was at his peak, he wouldn't look at his sleep data on the morning of the marathon because that's not going to make you feel good. Imagine you look at it, it's like, oh, didn't sleep well, heart rate's up and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. It's very similar, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So being driven entirely by it can be dangerous, I think.
Yeah, I think there's so much data now. We're surrounded, like you're right, you can overanalyze everything, can't you?
You can, and I think what I worry about, so at the moment we're seeing a boom, right? So lots of us will say there's a running boom, and a business like yours is perfectly placed to at the center of such a boom. But I don't think there is actually a boom. It's really weird. I've been doing some analysis for another project I'm working on that looks at the volume of or the data that exists about the number of people that are running, and there's no evidence particularly to show that more people are running now than they were 10 years ago or even 20 years ago. But what is probable is that people are running more, and they're running more visibly. So I think what we're seeing now is a visibility boom. So there's social media, obviously, people are posting everything. You guys are at the forefront of kit looking good, and that makes a difference because people are prepared to wear their kit in places that they wouldn't have done in the past. So in the past, you'd have gone for your run, quickly got changed, showered and changed and back into your normal clothes. Now you're happy to lounge around, go to the pub, even in your gym kit. So people see it a lot more. So we think it's bigger than it possibly is. That's not to say it's not big, but it's
interesting.
So I would describe it as a visibility boom rather than a boom in the participation, from a participation perspective. But I think the challenge it brings, and with AI and tech, the challenge it brings is pressure. And I think one of the things that I worry about for the running world right now is an over reliance or over analysis of performance data versus how do I feel about my running? How what's it doing for me? Versus what I can get. And it's becoming a bit like another thing to get stressed about. Like, am I hitting my miles? What's my heart rate variability? Have I got the cadence right? What's my heart rate doing in that run? All of these things, they start to eat away at people.
It's dangerous.
It can be, yeah.
It's almost like like people are, do I want to put it on Strava? I don't want everyone to see that run, or it's like a comparison thing, isn't it? It's almost like, it is dangerous, and especially like, you hear people who first get into running, they're like, I've heard it like where someone said, oh, I was sort of scared to go running, so didn't want people to see me running, like going for a walk run. But I remember when I first started running, like I did like 2 miles and I'd walk and run it. But that's quite a big thing for people, isn't it? To leave their house. They don't want people to see them. Well, certainly historically, I think that's much less so now. But I think, you're right. But people put themselves out there, they start to share everything, and then it becomes quite stressful for them. And my worry is that we get so stressed about our running that we forget that it's supposed to be there to help with our stress.
That's so true.
And so just trying to manage and help people through that, I think, is really important. So it's kind of weird because when I first started coaching, the Milestone Pursuit is the name which my wife came up with, 'cause I'm terrible at naming things.
It's a great name.
It was all about, everyone's got a milestone they're trying to chase.
Yeah.
And in running terms, it's really obvious whether it's a sub 3 or a sub 230 in my case, Pete, and your sub 3 for you, whatever it is. We're always chasing something, and it's always somewhere down the road. And that's true of life as well. Right? We're always trying to pursue something or other. But as time has passed, so I was quite goal obsessed when I first started doing it, because that's how you trade, right? People want to run a sub 3, so they think, oh, okay, I'll get some help, run a sub 3. But as time passes, you realise actually that's not what people are going to benefit from or remember. They're going to remember how they felt about certain runs.
Or it's even taking on I've done a 5K and then I want to do a 10K, or like a lot of people have a challenge as I want to just finish a half, because obviously that's a really big achievement, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like,
We
not
always
always those
say
kind of
this like,
goals.
to our community, it's not about the time. Like we always say, a 6-minute mile is the same as a 14-minute mile. Anyone who finishes a marathon gets the same medal. It's so true. Like it doesn't matter. Like Sebastian Saul broke 2 hours, but the person who ran it in, I don't know, 8 hours got the same medal.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, does
what's
it?
that thing? Finish lines, not finish times.
Yeah, finish lines, not finish times.
But yeah, do you think there is a role for the apps?
Oh, yeah.
Alongside what you're doing, or how? Like, what do you kind of think?
Yeah, so I sort of look at the apps like your runners of this world and think they're not wildly different in what they offer people than the downloadable training programs you used to get. Or when I first ran a marathon, you had to buy Runner's World and then follow the training plan that you found in that. And it's not hugely different in that sense. It is a commoditizable thing. A runner is obviously, they're all designed around you as an individual, using bespoke data and all that kind of stuff. But the reality with them all is, including the downloadable, 12-week training plan, as soon as something goes wrong, you're left to your own devices to figure out what happens next. So if you miss a week, if you're ill, you're injured, or you're stressed at work, or there's a bereavement in the family, and you're not quite sure how to handle that, not just the training plan, but how those different stresses will impact upon your body and your performance, that's when it all starts to break down a little bit. So what I see now is, obviously lots of people sign up to your runners of this world, and it does a really good job at helping people get into the sport, know what to do, how to run different types of training sessions, that kind of stuff. But I see people coming later down the line, maybe a year or two, and go, okay, I've sort of done my runner.
Yeah.
I need something different now.
Like couch to 5K and stuff like that as well.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
It's good
Yeah.
to get people going, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And I think runner is a really good way of getting people into running. It's like the modern version of buying your Runner's World.
Yeah.
But then if you go out on a 15-mile run, didn't feel good, only doing marathon pace or whatever, you didn't feel good. When you work with a coach, you go, Steve, I didn't feel good, blah blah blah. You come back with something. With running, you don't have that, and that's the critical thing for me.
And you also have that sort of critical thinking piece. So a lot of people initially will appoint a coach for accountability purposes. They'll go, someone to make sure that I'm going to do the things that are in my plan, or I know I want to do, to be able to get me to where I want to get to, and to work with me with it. But once you get into it, it's like problem solving. Why am I not able to run that as well as I could run my session the other day? I didn't race as well. What's going on there? And it's having somebody just to go, well, have you, and this is a real life example, have you checked your iron levels lately? No, I've never checked my iron levels. Okay, well, maybe get a blood test and see what the iron levels say, because it feels and sounds like there's maybe an iron deficiency.
Yeah.
I'm no doctor, I don't know that, but find out. And then sure enough, 2 weeks later, I come back, oh yeah, it's right, I've got an iron deficiency, so I need some supplements.
Right. Yeah.
And then 6 months later, I've taken a load of supplements and my performance has gone up through the roof.
Yeah.
And it's having someone to have those conversations with that the apps won't be able to deliver.
No.
And amend your plan and based on what things that come up.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's, there's pros and cons. It's
course.
like AI in anything in our lives, isn't it? There's good stuff about it, but there's also
Well, yeah, exactly. Like anything in life, if you misuse, overuse anything, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
You know? So just having an understanding of how you handle it yourself, I think is really important.
Yeah.
I think you were talking about the visibility thing. It is still crazy though. Like if you look at London Marathon ballot, 1.3 million, is that right? The right number?
Yeah, roughly.
And they're talking about the 2-day one-off. And I remember when, so I've been running obviously 17 years, I could enter Manchester Marathon January of the year, so January and April. Now you have to enter Manchester Marathon, which isn't London, in April or May the year before.
Yeah.
So there is there's more people are racing.
They are exactly, and that's part of the visibility thing. So in the past, what I would say is historically there was two types of runners. Effectively, it was not quite as binary as this, but there was the jogger who was just doing it for fitness and would probably wear some clothes that they wore for a different sport, or perhaps picked up at Sports Direct, just jogging around the block. And there's the club athlete who's gnarly, probably quite introverted, wears a vest and the shortest shorts you can imagine, and just gets out there and runs. And you've got those two. Now you've got a stream of people in the middle, which is, I kind of like running, but I'm also really competitive and I want to beat my PBs all the time, and I want to do these amazing races. I want to do the bucket list stuff, and eventually, obviously that gets to London wanting 1.3 million people wanting to run London, most of whom, or the biggest group of which, are the Gen Zs.
I was going to say, I think it's like that younger audience.
Ones who wear those glasses, and you know what I'm talking about.
But you know, like the local running clubs, like around where we live, there's like some amazing running club groups, like Meet Before Work, like young girls, like a little community. They now go and do like other well-being health stuff together, and it's so nice. And it's like that change in Gen Z generally aren't going out clubbing, drinking all night. They want to be doing the gym and health and stuff, and then it's about building a community. And like obviously we get tagged in quite a lot, and I'm not saying like some of those runners are happy striders, some of them aren't, but like we just see a lot of it, and they're popping up all over the country, and I just think they're amazing.
They're almost like micro clubs. They're not your traditional running club. They're
maybe not even official. They're
official. It's like, let's meet at this coffee shop, we're going to go for half an hour, we'll come back and have a coffee after. And you see them, like I see them, like 20 girls all running together.
And these girls are all like best friends now, which is just so
brilliant,
nice
isn't it?
to see. We just love seeing that. But
do you think, just quickly, what do you think about the 2-day marathon, the 2-day London marathon?
That's a tough one. I don't know where they've got to in it. My understanding is that it's going to happen. I don't quite know how it's going to happen. I worry that kind of, I suppose, from a selfish old man perspective, that it's kind of ruining a good thing. A single day event that was kind of special, is unique, to do it across 2 days. I worry it dilutes it. I mean, I guess they're like everything, you can't arrest the pace of change, and sport is changing. All sports are changing really rapidly, and what used to be good in my mind is now not good in other people's minds. So it's just one of them, really. What I will say about the London Marathon is it is an unbelievable organisation that is there for good. It is not for profit. Everything it generates, it ploughs back into communities across the country. So from that perspective, it's quite hard to grumble at its ambition.
It's amazing.
If it was a corporate organised, profit-making organisation, then I might be grumbling about greed. But in this instance, I think no.
Fair enough.
Talking of that sort of angle, Milestone Pursuit, you kind of invest and support a lot of like British Marathon. Don't you?
In a small way. So that goes to the heart of one of the things I said earlier about I'd always wanted to work in sport, and in growing up in the 80s, we had the UK had a strong marathon running heritage, and actually way before that had a very strong marathon running heritage. And that's subsided since predominantly East Africans have come along and changed the sport. And they've changed it in two ways. Obviously, they've changed performance levels, but they've also changed where the money goes. So the prize money used to go to obviously the people, the Brits who won the London Marathon. Now it's virtually impossible for British people to win big races. All the prize money goes to East Africans. The appearance money goes there, most of the endorsements. But to compete as a marathon runner, it's really hard. So you've got to be full-time, really, a full-time athlete, which then makes it difficult to live.
Yes.
So having identified this, we create a pot of money out of the money we generate from our clients to invest back into elite athletes to give them some support. And what started as a financial support initiative, which seemed to be appreciated by them, has turned into more than that. So it becomes more, these people are all my friends, so they become, it's a moral support as well.
Yeah.
And it's been nice for me because it bridges the gap between elite performance and normal performance.
Yeah.
And you realise the things that elite athletes do and elite coaches do are exactly the same.
We're all human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just happen to have a physiology that's somewhat different, and maybe a drive that's somewhat different.
Yeah.
That's it, really.
Yeah.
In any other way, they're just normal humans. They just can run quite fast. So we've been doing that for a long time. That's starting to evolve a little bit now. So I'm now working with two of those athletes, Natasha Wilson and Josh Griffiths. We're working collaboratively together at creating the next stage of the Milestone Pursuit, which is more of a running club that's designed to connect people from different communities across the country. So
Brilliant.
what we found is there are people who want to be part of something but are geographically too far away from other people or are kind of a bit isolated. So making them feel part of something else is our ambition, both in person and obviously online.
Amazing. And didn't you have Charlotte Perdue as well?
Yeah, so Charlotte was one of the very first athletes that
you've
sponsored.
Charlotte, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, raced really well, had some terrible luck when it comes to major championships.
Right.
Yeah, I follow her on Instagram.
Yeah, so her dream was to run the Paris Olympic or an Olympics, and the Paris Olympics she fell off a curb and smashed her ankle 2 weeks before, which was, you know, heartbroken as much as ankle broken.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's fantastic, brilliant, and they all are. They're all lovely people.
Yeah,
and,
amazing.
And it's no coincidence really that runners make good people. I think because you kind of have a certain mindset, which you guys have identified, right, with Happy Stride. There's a vibe in modern vernacular
about, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, within those communities as well.
Yeah. So with your online coaching, what obviously I know you've coached me, but for everyone else, what sort of methods do you use when you're training an athlete?
By methods, you mean what type of training?
Yeah. So what's your strategy? Like, say someone came to you and said, "I want to run a 4-hour marathon, first marathon." How would you go about that?
So the first thing I'll do is work out where you are. So, I mean, this sounds like the most obvious thing in the world, but you have to go with where someone is, not where they want to get to, and then figure out how you bridge that gap. And I always have this thing with, do you like cricket at all? Have you ever watched cricket?
I don't follow cricket.
Okay, have you heard of Shane Warne?
Yeah.
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 So he always did this thing, right, where he was for those who aren't aware of who Shane Warne was as a cricketer, he was one of the world's best ever spin bowlers. And he would do this thing, or he'd say he'd do this thing, who knows whether it's true or not, where when he faced a batsman he'd never bowled at before, he would bowl an over at them, so 6 balls, and he'd do different thing with each one, not as a means of trying to get them out, but trying to work them out. He's trying to work out what they were going to be good at, what they were not going to be good at. He'd spend an over doing that, and then he would work out a strategy in his mind and then try and get them out. I sort of think like that when I'm coaching people. It's like when I first take someone on, it'll be I'm going to give you a bunch of different sessions of different stimuli. I'm going to see what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and then from there I'll start to work the plan. I mean, some people already know that I'm really good at speed, I'm not so good at endurance, or I need my threshold developed, or my running economy needs some bit of help, or psychologically I'm struggling. But often, you know, I just like to go through a bit of a process early on to figure people out. And then aside from that, it is then, you know, bespoke, right? Whoever you are, you have a different set of way. I'll have a different way of working with you. But having said that, when it comes to the marathon, what I really like to do is get people into the long miles early, get them, you know, to their longest runs, probably 10 weeks out from the marathon, and then work on the speed that they want to hit. And getting that balance right is quite important, I think. And then the final piece of the jigsaw is getting people ready for the race, because it's the marathon is only as good as the execution of the race, and it can all unravel if you get it wrong, as we all know, because we've all done it.
Yeah.
And you have to run a race that you're in the condition for, not the one you want to be running.
That reminds me of when I ran Paris Marathon, and I met a lady on Twitter before, and we met up, and then we tried to run together, but she was too fast, and I tried to keep up with her, and like mile 5, I just hit the wall. He had to come and find me. I took about 6 hours, but I basically was trying to run her race rather than mine that I had actually trained for, and it completely ruined it. So that was a good learn to run your race and like what you've trained for.
One of my favourite boring name-dropping stories around that was Comrades, actually, again, going back to that, to go full circle, as on the flight there, I happened to be sitting next to Chrissy Wellington, who was world Ironman champion multiple times, and she was running Comrades, and she's an unbelievable athlete, and we were chatting, as you do, about stuff, and she was asking, I've never run this distance before. She said, well, if you've done a marathon in, and she goes, oh, you should really be aiming for this. I was like, whoa, that's nowhere near what I'm aiming for. I really don't want to be going down that road. And I was really pleased with myself for being disciplined enough to go with my plan. I ended up running pretty much nearly what she said I thought I could run, but if I'd have gone with that intention, I'd never have done it.
I think it's so easy to be influenced by others.
Yeah, and for the pressure.
You might do a quick half or something, or do a time, and someone will be like, oh, you should be going for that. Actually.
Yeah.
It's like a half marathon. A marathon's very different.
Yeah. Totally. And
you put that in a calculator, you should be doing that. That's the other thing, calculators. Run prediction calculators.
Well, they can be pretty good, but not necessarily for the marathon, and depends on where you are on your marathon journey. Like your first marathon is going to be very different from your 10th one, so because you've got that experience, obviously. So it's something to work through and talk to someone who's got some experience in. And the conversation I'll often have with people pre the races, what does success look like? It's not, that might be a time, but it might also be, well, I want to run strong. I don't want to fall apart. I want to be proud of the way that I ran. Okay, well, then let's have a chat about what that actually looks like in terms of your pacing strategy, and measured that against, what condition we think you're actually in, rather than, as I say, what you think you might be in. And sub 3 is the worst one, because sub 3 is the one that everyone wants. It's a big jump. No one ever goes, well, I used to say this, no one goes from 2 to 1. So going from 3 to 2 is a big deal. But obviously people have gone from 2 to 1 now. But 3 to 2 is a massive deal for people. But you might be in 303 shape, in which case trying to run a 258 is going to cause you problems.
Yeah. Speaking to people with experience, what are your top 3 tips for someone training for a marathon?
Put the work in. You can't shortcut a marathon. I mean, you can't shortcut much in running, but you definitely can't shortcut a marathon. So put the work in. Enjoy doing the work. Don't see it as a chore. Kind of invest in the whole process. Trust the process, they say, don't they? But you've got to invest in the process, I think. And then the third thing as well, I've just been talking about, just run the race you're in the condition to run, not the one you want to be in. And then you'll have a good day.
Yeah.
Very good.
Sound like
Very
good ones, don't they?
Yeah. Do you have, what do you think on, we touched on it earlier, carbon shoes. Do you think every runner should use carbon shoes?
No, definitely not. I think people should wear the shoes that they think work for them and are comfortable for them and help them. And that may or may not be carbon plates, but having, we talked about earlier, I think it's difficult to avoid because it's so ubiquitous. There's so many of them available, and it feels like there isn't a lot of choice in the sense of carbons or assisted shoes, performance assisted shoes or not. You kind of have to go with it, I think.
It is a bit of a shame as well how, if you look at a lot of carbon shoes, they're over 200 quid. Yeah. So it's, some people can't afford a £200 pair of shoes.
Yeah.
And so then they could be at a disadvantage in the race.
Yeah.
Not that everyone's racing each other, you know what I mean? But that sort of maybe ruined running a bit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's ruined it, but it's definitely made it less romantic than it was. So the romantic idea of my first marathon, leaving the door, just looking at the time as I left the house, and a pair of, I did buy some trainers, some proper running shoes, but that was it. I used to wear football shorts, just go out and run. Is sort of...
times have changed.
It's not made it available to everyone.
That's right.
Where you think shorts, T-shirt, pair of trainers, anyone can go running.
Yeah. And you still could.
And they,
You still can. Yeah.
But you're right. It's made your relative performance weaker.
Yeah, I think like there's obviously we've spoken quite a lot today about those kind of like elites or like 3 hours and all that sort of thing, but you don't have to have a pair of.
I mean, those Adidas shoes
you
that
can still run in a pair of trainers, and you can go.
Well, yeah, I mean,
you can.
You know, to go back to where we started this conversation, I ran a 2:30 marathon in normal running shoes at the age of 46. So
yeah, that's the point, isn't it? That's the answer. You don't have to do it. You don't need to do that.
It can be done.
It can be done.
Of course it can.
Yeah.
Of course it can.
I mean, those Adidas shoes are 450 quid.
That's crazy. Isn't it?
That's like something I would never do.
No. And also what the danger of that is, you then can't, once you bought them, you're not going to go.
You're going to go back.
And you're going to go, oh, they don't work for me. I'm going to buy a different pair.
No. Yeah, you're stuck with them.
Yeah, you want to justify them, aren't you? And then that potentially leads to problems too, because people then use a pair of shoes that aren't working for them, maybe.
Yeah. And it's all about being happy anyway, isn't it? This we spoke a bit earlier.
It's called the Running Makes Me Happy podcast.
It is, we spoke a bit earlier about happy stride, and obviously everything we do is about running makes me happy, bright colours, all that sort of thing. And on the podcast we definitely talk about running makes me happy and mental health. So how do you kind of think running helps mental health? Does it help you? Does it help your clients?
Yeah, I mean it's inarguable, isn't it? I mean, the evidence body is significant that most people feel great about themselves when they're running and when they finish running or whatever. It's a slightly unique sport in that you feel great for a small period of it. For maybe a third of it, you hate it and you want it to end immediately, and we're wishing our lives away. But afterwards, we get that big rush and that release. And I think it makes. Happy is a brilliant way of looking at it, and I love the way you've built a brand around that. I think it's more than happiness, though. I think there's something that releases in our minds that really helps us. And I think it's about freedom. I think it's about being able to get away from the trappings of stressful life, or the hamster wheel that doesn't actually go anywhere. As soon as you're actually moving through space when you're running. I think being able to go out and explore places, there's a spatial element to running, and you feel free because you can run through the North Downs, and you're fit enough to be able to do that, and it's a real treat and a luxury. So I think it provides us with probably the highest source of whatever it is that we need to feel comfortable in life, and that's the kind of sense of being free.
Yeah.
And then that makes us feel happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love
totally that. Agree. Yeah.
You always sometimes post when you go abroad, you post a track.
Yeah.
So like you'll go somewhere and you always try and find a running track.
Yeah. So usually when I go away, I'll try and do two things. One is that, so I find a track to run on, because there's always a track somewhere in the world, and they're always fun and unique and different.
Yeah, that's cool.
And the second thing is to explore. And the expression I always use is running takes you places. You end up going on your own 2 feet. You can get to places that you wouldn't ordinarily either in any other means. And on holiday, it's a brilliant thing because you're in a completely new environment. You can just go and see stuff.
We do that, don't we?
Yeah.
We
it's first day. It's good to get on holiday, get your bearings.
Totally, it's
get our bearings. We even we do laugh though, because sometimes when you kind of see like restaurants, it's early morning and they're all like closed, and you kind of go, oh no, where have we come? Like it all looks a bit dead, and then it all opens up and you're like, like we explore, don't we? We always take it in turns.
Yeah, do a recce basically. And there's good shops down there, restaurants there.
And it makes you, we always say this, it kind of prepares you to go all out on the breakfast buffet because you've been for a run, and then you feel like, we can go for that now.
Then there's that as well.
So we do, definitely.
So been so good having you on, Steve. I suppose final question we ask everyone is, what would be your dream race? Have you got any races you want to still do
that I haven't done?
Yeah,
that's a tough one. So I've done 5 of the majors. I've got no appetite to do the others. So Tokyo is the original 6th one that I'm missing, and I've no desire to fly to Sydney to run a marathon. Some of it stuck on that, and I've done loads of other European ones as well. Comrades I've done. The only race that I think that I'd really like to do still is Two Oceans, the ultra marathon in Cape Town.
Right, okay.
Which is spectacular.
What is that? Like, what is that race? Is that a trail race? Or
No, it's road.
Oh, okay.
It's really similar to Comrades, but not as long.
Oh, okay.
And just goes around the Cape.
Oh, wow.
So it's supposed to be amazing. So I'd love to do that. But honestly, just going for any run in the mountains, trails, even in Epping Forest, it's just,
It's lovely.
It's a nice place to run.
it's just a luxury, isn't it, to be able to be strong and fit enough to run.
Yeah.
He says, sort of on the way back from injury.
Yeah. I've done that Epping 50k.
Oh yeah,
I've done it 3 times. Like it's, I love it.
Yeah.
It's like an out and back.
Yeah.
It's quite rolling Epping.
Yeah.
Epping Forest, isn't it?
Yeah. I live near the top end where it's particularly rolling.
Right. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, it goes very close to where I live. Actually, that David Bones event.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a lovely guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a top guy. Yeah.
Yeah. He did Badwater, didn't he?
Yep.
He came like 11th or something.
Yeah, he's run Spartathlon as well.
Yeah.
It's nice to have somewhere like that to run, isn't it? Nearby, like a forest, or like we've got the seafront, or like even in London, like the parks and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's just so nice to have somewhere like that to go.
Yeah. Get out into some space.
Yeah, like you said, in nature.
Yeah.
But thanks so much
Cool.
for coming on.
No
If
worries.
anyone
Thanks for
wants
having
to, I suppose, get in contact with you about coaching, do you have like an Instagram or?
Yeah. So Instagram is the Milestone Pursuit. Got the website, so just get in touch
Great.
via either of those means.
Amazing. Thanks so much.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
Steve.
Steve.
Thank you.